Father, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice.
Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector,
My guide,
and my salvation.
and my salvation.
By night
And by day.
and by day.
Through his holy prophet.
Through his holy prophet.
Through Ali.
Amen.
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 Remain standing.
Islam.
First I give praise to Allah,
First I give praise to Allah,
the great God of the universe.
the great God of the universe.
I give honor to his holy divine prophet,
I give honor to his holy divine prophet,
Noble Drew Ali,
Noble Drew Ali,
the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
I give honor to the forerunner to the prophet,
I give honor to the forerunners to the prophet,
Brother Marcus Garvey.
Brother Marcus Garvey.
I give honor to all true and divine prophets,
I give honor to all true and divine prophets,
Jesus,
Muhammad,
Buddha,
Confucius,
Confucius, etc.
etc.
I give honor to the past supreme grand advisor, the moderator of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
I give honor to the past supreme grand advisors and moderators of the Moorish Science Temple of America,
Brother C. Kirkman Bay,
Brother C. Kirkman Day,
Brother F. Nelson Bay,
Brother F. Nelson Day,
and Brother J. Blakely Bay.
and Brother J. Blakely Day.
I give honor to the past former Grand Chief Mario of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
I give honor to the past supreme grand chief moderator of the Moorish Science Temple of America,
Brother R. Lovell.
Brother R. Lovell.
I give honor to the present Grand Chief, who is the Mario of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
I give honor to the present grand chief who is the moderator of the Moorish Science Temple of America,
Brother R. Jones Bay.
Brother R. Jones Bay.
I give honor to the Assistant Grand Chief of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
I give honor to the assistant grand chief of the Moorish Science Temple of America,
Brother P. Chase Hill.
Brother P. Chase Hill.
I give honor to the Grand National Secretary of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
I give honor to the Grand National Secretary of the Moorish Science Temple of America,
Sister I. Morbay.
Sister I. Bay.
I give honor to the Financial Secretary of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
I give honor to the Financial Secretary of the Moorish Science Temple of America,
Sister T. Potter Bay.
Sister T. Potter Bay,
To her assistant.
and to her assistant,
Sister M. Montgomery Bay.
Sister M. Montgomery Bay.
I give honor to all national, state, and local officials of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
I give honor to all national, state, and local officials of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
I give honor to the Grand Governor of Washington, D.C.
I give honor to the Grand Governor of Washington, D.C.,
Brother H. Harris Bay.
Brother H. Harris Bay,
And to his assistant.
and to his assistant,
Brother T. Gaither.
Brother T. Gaither.
I give honor to the Grand Sheik of Temple 71.
I give honor to the Grand Sheik of Temple 71,
Brother L. Green Bay.
Brother L. Green Bay.
I give honor to all Sheikhs and members of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
I give honor to all Sheikhs and members of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
I give honor to all auxiliaries of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
I give honor to all auxiliaries of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
I give honor to the American flag.
I give honor to the American flag,
The Moorish flag.
the Moorish flag,
And to our charter.
and to our charter.
I give honor to everything that the Prophet brought.
I give honor to everything that the Prophet brought
For the uplifting of all humanity.
for the uplifting of all humanity.
I give honor to man.
I give honor to man.
Peace.
Peace.
Salvation, our God, unity. The Moorish Science Temple of America, the divine constitution of bylaws. Act 1. The Grand Sheik and the chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the grand body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The assistant Grand Sheik is to assist the Grand Sheik in all affairs. If he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and he is known for the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And 2, all meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to Chapter 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest because on a Friday, the first man born in flesh, and on a Friday, the first man departed out of flesh and sent to the Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. No member to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister or any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister with Allah's love. Act 4, all members must preserve these holy divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government. Because of being in Moorish America, you are a part and parcel of the government and must live life accordingly. Act 5, this organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the state government was obeyed hereby. Act 6, the first all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and a parcel of the said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national names to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from the sinful ways. The Moorish American are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, whom inhabited the northwest and southwestern shores of Africa. At 7, all members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and a partial of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Scientific of America. Members must pay their dues and keep an eye on the necessities of the Moorish Scientific of America. Then you are entitled to the name of favor. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children, look out for duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother, be industrious, and become a part of the uplifting of all humanity. All Moorish Americans keep their hearts and minds filled with love, and their body clean with water. This divine covenant is from the Holy Prophet, Noble Ali, who the God's Father God, Allah. Noble Ali founder, Moorish American prayer. Allah the Father, of the universe, the Father, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my God, and my salvation, by night and by day. Through his holy prophet, Ali, amen. The Moorish Scientific of America, 2905 5th Street, Southeast, Washington, D.C., 20032. Thus shall I read from the Divine Constitution bylaws. Now, I'd like to read from the questionnaire and additional law for the Moorish American by Prophet Noble Ali. Act 1. Grand Sheikhs and governors head of all temples, all businesses. Each said temple must be approved by the Prophet Noble Ali. Before acting upon by any members, let it be financed property or any line of life that will cause the sacrifice, finance, etc. that will cause the support of any group of members. Any form of office that violates these laws is subject to be removed from his office under heavy restrictions asserted by the Prophet of the Grand Sheikh. Now 2. All members are to attend their ADAT meetings and their public meetings promptly. If a member is found standing around on their meeting period, shall be fined 50 cents on the first case, and on the second he'll be fined $1, which will go in your emergency fund. If a member is working, his monthly dues must be paid, and if he has money in the bank, he must subscribe for as much as he is able to Moorish Uplifting Fund, because it takes finance to uplift the nation. Act 3. It is lawful and divine duty of every good member, if he is able in financial aid in saving the nation, and if he does not, he is an enemy to the cause of uplifting his own people, and justice must catch you. Let it be he or she according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. As I had the power and rest in my hands, I will have to support the law in order to save the nation. Act 4. All members, while making a public speech, must not use any assertion against the American flag or speak radical against the church or any member of any organized group, because we have to teach love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Act 5. All members must promptly attend their meeting and send their children to Sunday school, and the teacher must confirm himself to the questionnaire, and let every member exercise 5 senses who was able to do so, because offering the Sunday school to the guidance of the nation. Act 6. But first, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and parcel of this state government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, who inhabit the northwest and southwestern shores of Africa. And 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and a partial of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Temple. Members must pay their dues and keep an eye on the necessities of the Moorish Temple. Then you are entitled to a name of favor. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children, look after duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother, be industrious, and become part of the uplifting of all humanity. All Moorish Americans keep their hearts and minds pure with love, and their body clean before them. This divine covenant is from the Holy Prophet, Noble Ali, Ruth, the God's Father, God, Allah. That's what I'm reading from the questionnaire and this law, all 7 acts. Now I'd like to read from the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science about America. About declared by Noble Prophet, Prophet Noble Ali. I'd like to read from chapter 25, the Holy Covenant of the Abrahamic Nation. Ye are children of one father, provided for by his care, and the breath of one mother has given you suck. That the bonds of affection, therefore, unite you with thy brother. Their peace and happiness to dwell in thy father's house. And when you separate in the world, remember the relation that binds you to love and unity. And prefer not a stranger before their own blood. If thy brother is in adversity, assist him. If thy sister is in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortunes of thy father contribute to the support of his whole race. And his care be continued to you all and your love to each other. Peace. Islam, Lord.
Islam.
I'd like to welcome all out to our Sunday school here in Washington, D.C., 71. It's a pleasure and honor to be here, Sunday school, and just to see another day. Allah has given us another day to our broken development. Praise Allah that we get through this day. I read all that on the class. Praise Allah for that. So we had anybody downstairs come up so we get all the time instruction. I pray a lot that we check our cell phones. You know, let the cell phones go off during the course of our meeting because it can throw us off track. We have a vibration going and sometimes the phone go off, kind of throw you off. So we want to double check our cell phone. Other than that, how do you feel in here? Is it just me?
Feels good.
Feel good? Feel good over here?
Yeah.
Then it's me then. I do feel good. Praise the Lord. So, you got anybody coming up?
Yeah.
We're going to have children's Sunday school now? See my children. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I felt it. It wasn't just you, I felt it.
I pray that. Everybody comfortable? So we had literature, you know, you can raise your hand, Mufti with a sister, you got water, you raise your hand, Mufti with a sister. I pray a lot we have a good Sunday school today, and that we are here to exercise our 5 senses. So we want to, exercise while we're here. So we're going to have a moment of silent meditation before I call our instructor. Islam. Without further ado, I'd like to call forth the Grand Sheikh, who is the moderator of the Moorish Science of our mother of our John Bates, to instruct our Sunday school.
Islam.
Islam.
Right. Allah the
Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Ali. Amen.
Praise Allah. Islam to you again.
Islam.
Beautiful day.
Yes.
Okay, who made you?
Allah.
Who is Allah?
Allah is the Father of the universe.
Can we see him?
No.
Where is the nearest place we can meet?
In the heart.
Who is Noble Juali?
He is Allah's prophet.
What is a prophet?
A prophet is the thought of Allah manifested in the flesh.
What is the duty of a prophet?
To save nations from the wrath of Allah.
Who was the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America?
Noble Drew Ali.
What year was the Moorish Science Temple of America founded?
1913
Where?
AD. Newark, New Jersey.
Where was Noble Drew Ali born?
In the state of North Carolina, 1886.
What is his nationality?
Moorish American.
What is your nationality?
Moorish American.
Why are we Moorish American?
Because we are descendants of Moroccans and Moorish America.
For what purpose was the Moorish Science Temple of America founded?
For the uplifting of fallen man.
How did the prophet begin to uplift the Moorish America?
By teaching them to be themselves.
What is our religion?
Islamism.
What is our religion?
Islamism.
Okay, what is Islamism? Just for the sake of discussion. What is Islam? No, I'll tell you. What's important to know about Islamism? Huh? It is the practice of peace. That's right. What is it important to know about Islamism? We know it's the practice of peace, yes. But what is it important to know? Yes.
It's a way of life.
It's no question. Come on, Mo.
It's not. That's what I was going to say. It's the practice of peace.
It's a practice. Okay, well, I see I can't trick you, so I might as well just go ahead and get you. Come on, Brother McGee, back.
Islam is the first religious creed established by our forefathers.
Okay, I can go for that. I can go for that. But
It's our religion.
huh?
Islamism is our religion.
It is our religion, no question. But I thought by me saying, what is the most, let me say it like this. What is the most important aspect of Islamism? What is it? It's a mission, no question. What is it?
The practice.
The practice. Islamism must be lived, and the only way it can live is by way of your what?
Practice.
You must practice to make it live. It does not live unless it lays dormant if you don't practice. Each time you fail to practice, your religion is dormant, meaning it's not active. And if you have a religion that's non-active, that means that you are a non-actor. You're idle. And how can you know your religion is true? How do you, if you don't activate your religion in your actions, how can you learn to rely on it? How can you know God if you don't put forth one foot before the other to go meet him?
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just saying that from the outside of him, but we know we got to put one foot before the other to go meet him within ourselves. But that movement is your religion. That movement, that putting forth your foot one before the other to go to meet your God is the practice of your religion. What do you learn along the path? What do you learn along the path of going towards God? Look, walking towards your God, what are you learning on the path?
How to be constant.
Constant, that's good, how to be constant. Come on.
It's in line that same line. I was gonna say keep moving.
Okay, keep moving. Okay. But what are you learning? You got to be learning something that's going to help to reinforce your continued movement.
Trust.
I like it. You're learning to trust. Trust what?
In the process.
In the process. The process of knowing God is what?
Real.
It is real. Come on, Mom.
And then you learn how to practice His goodness,
Yes.
His love.
Yes.
Howbeit,
And what are you allowing him to do?
express Himself.
Express himself. See, his expression lets you know he's there. You must be kind to know kindness. Kindness is an attribute of God. So when you know kindness, you know an attribute of God. That helps you to reinforce being loving. If I can be loving, I can show gratitude. If I can show gratitude, I can learn how to treat people. All these things are being reinforced as you practice your religion and live the life accordingly.
So it must be exemplified.
It has to be. It's no good if it's not. Don't tell me about no religion if you ain't showing it. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
If you ain't showing what you're talking about when it comes to this, then it means nothing to me. Because it means nothing to you. That's why the way of life must be lived. It must be practiced. It must be shown in your what? Actions. Yes, it has to. And you must reinforce your relationship with Allah. You have to know that Allah is there. Now, yes, it comes in small degrees, but the key is to keep it coming. The more you be exposed, the more confident you become. So when those adversities and challenges start to expose themselves to you, you become more confident in who you can call on to help you get through it. You don't look at Allah once you get to a certain point to alleviate anything. You look for him to help you to learn how to deal with it. Allah is not going to relieve your discomfort when you're the one to make the decisions to make you uncomfortable. So you ask Allah, help me to know help me to use my mind to deal with it. And it is the will of man that what? Makes possible the action of the Holy Spirit. And that's what helps you to see the situation you're in and think yourself out of it. Come on, Mom.
Got a question.
Yeah.
So when a human being is displaying goodness and righteousness, that's the Allah in him?
Yes. And you know what the human being, what is the human being showing? What is the human showing when he displays what you just simply mentioned?
The high self.
He no question. But what else is he showing?
His obedience.
Yes, he's showing goodness, no question. What else is he showing?
Gratitude.
Yes, no question. Gratitude. Come on, Mom. Submission. He's showing submission. Without submission, you are not being a what? A Muslim.
Not a true Muslim.
The second part of that is, because the prophet say we building up character in it.
Right.
That's where the prophet comes. So where the character come in with you displaying the attributes of Allah.
Right. What you mean? I'm not understanding your question.
I mean, like, how is they synonymous for?
Well, wait a minute. Why don't we do it like this? What is character?
Principles.
What is character?
It's a free national standard.
What is character?
Personality.
Good deeds and qualities.
What you display? So I see what the situation is. We have not quite identified character. So you must be able to see it. You must be able to see it. You must be able to identify it to see how it applies to you.
So, would that be like the aura that you project?
I'll say this. It can produce an aura that you project.
Right.
I mean, because after all, that's what the prophet say we building it.
There's no question. What are we building? Sister Rashida.
Character, I would say, is your traits and
Oh,
qualities.
yes.
Him with mom.
Yes. Those things that go into making you you. Remember, good character is always displayed by what? Your actions, or, most importantly, your behavior.
Behavior don't lie. That's right.
Your behavior. Your hand up? Okay.
I was gonna say pattern.
Yeah.
Character is a pattern.
Yeah.
It's how you consistently act.
Yeah. How you consistently act. Can you see the character in the prophet? Can you see the character in the prophet?
Yeah.
Yes.
How do you see it?
Steadfast.
One humbleness.
Okay, humbleness. patience, resolute. You see all that in the prophet? Okay. How do you see it though? How do you see that in the prophet? The prophet's not here physically, so how do you see it? How do you see this character that's displayed by the prophet, my brother? By his laws. That's good. That's good. And if you apply his laws, you can see the character or the makeup of the law. And the law is put in place by who? It is, because remember, the law is what governs all events. Anything that you experience comes from your disobedience to the law or your obedience to the law. Come on, my brother.
What's wrong, sir?
Yes.
You know, I heard something that young sister McGee Bay said.
Yes.
That I think is important when
Yes.
we're talking about character. She was talking about consistency.
Yes.
See, a lot of time, and I think we all have bear witness to it, when we see somebody acting other than they normally do,
Yes.
and you say, that's generally not his character.
Yes.
That's generally not how she did.
Yes.
So when she mentioned consistency, that's important in terms of your character, because it's not how you may act today,
Yes.
and that's the only time we see it.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
supposed to be the traits that you show
Yes.
on a regular basis that
Yes.
builds your character to be as it is.
Yes.
You know we got a lower stuff, but sometimes.
Hold up.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. They are apt to go off from time to time.
I thought it was off.
That's all right. That's all right. Yeah. Come on here.
And we know that sometimes we can be inconstant,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
but if we building up our character and being consistent
Yeah.
with building on it, which is in imitating our prophet,
Yeah.
and we're building a consistent way of living, a consistent traits that
Yeah.
we're putting inside of us,
Yeah.
consistent qualities
Yeah.
that we're adopting and we're practicing.
Yes.
So I just thought that when she mentioned consistency,
Yes.
that's important when
Yes.
you're building character, because it has to be something that you're doing over and over and over again, not just
Yes. That's
you're
right.
all right today, but tomorrow you somewhere else.
That's
You
right.
don't know what your character
That's
is.
right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Come on, Mom.
I just want to piggyback a little bit, knowing that, you know, I would just not just say consistent, I would say positively consistent, because you can be negatively consistent too.
Yeah.
And so either way you go, you can build character negative or positive. So I would say be positively consistent.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's where you know, because you know there's a difference. It's like a positive and a negative. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But another way to do this, you know, Brother Jesus says, you know, walk in his path. And I think that was another way to exemplify when you building up the character. When he says walk in the path that was laid out before you, live prudence and models and temper and pain, justice, God, your hands, and never, that sort of thing. So, peace.
Okay. Okay. Come on, Mom.
I like to say what's also unique about seeing the prophet's character is that you have to really see it, you know, immaterially. You know, you can see it physically too, because, you know, his manner, you can see it in his countenance, the way he stands, the way he moves. You know, when and you can read a lot about a person from their body language, you know, just observe them, see how they talk, how they move, how they speak, if they smiling all the time. The brother was serious. You can see that. I ain't seen the picture yet. When it was smiling, I told you about his character. His character was dead serious.
But you see, we can look at a picture, and depending upon what state of development that our thinking is in, we can determine about what it looks like to us. He looks like he's like that.
That's right. Praise the Lord.
But that's not no guarantee that he is like that.
That's right.
That's right.
The only way that you know if he's like that or not is that you accept the thought in you and let it manifest.
Right. It's not.
Once it manifests, then you know, okay, I'm being kind. I can see the prophet being kind. Because I can see it. I have accepted the thought, and the thought has shown me kindness, humbleness, So when I look at him, by practicing the best I can say, he's kind. Yeah, come on.
I want to add that it's a good thing, Brother D, you have brought that up, because I see the consistency in the prophet. Because in by way of him establishing this movement, it had to be consistent.
Okay.
Praise
Okay. Okay. Now you're saying he had to be consistent. And you may rightly be saying that, which is correct. You may be correct. But remember, you may also not be correct. What makes you correct in your statement?
Because he was divinely prepared.
Okay, that's a good answer.
Yeah.
That's a good answer. Being divinely prepared is an indication, or being divinely prepared is what? What is it to be divinely prepared?
Guided by Allah.
Guided by Allah. Okay. Okay. What is it to be guided by Allah?
Back to submission.
Huh?
Back to submission. I heard the prophet say, in submission. Brother Moore's base said, in submission.
He was guided by Allah as a messenger.
Okay. Okay.
As
Let me
a
ask you,
prophet.
are you guided by Allah?
You asking me that? Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you guided by Allah, Brother Prophet?
Yes.
Okay. What, tell me something. Tell me what it's like to be guided by Allah. Tell me what it's like. Tell me what the experience is like to be guided by Allah.
To treat people the way I want to be treated.
Okay.
And not causing no harm and no pain and no want.
Okay. Okay. Sister Berry.
Islam, to follow, good deeds, thoughts, your words.
Okay.
You can hear. It's a voice you hear.
Oh, okay.
You're in your higher self if you're following Allah. So it's a thought that you can hear if
Okay.
you're vibrating high.
Okay.
So I look at that as being.
But man, and I like that. Man is truth and falsehood strangely mixed. And where is the part when one is guided by Allah, yet he's challenged? He's challenged because he is also influenced by his Lord self. Where is that? What happens? Where's the transition? How do you note that something is going on that you have to pay particular attention to because there's something going on here? I thought I was hearing Allah, but is that Allah? Because now I'm hearing this. Or is this Allah?
Yeah.
You see? Come on, dear.
It's I can recall sometimes where I was getting ready to go into what I assume would be not a high vibration atmosphere,
Okay.
and somebody would say, don't do
Okay.
that, and I feel like that was Allah telling me no,
Okay.
turn the other way.
Okay. Okay. So what must one note when he's following a follower of Allah? What must he note, Brother Birdman?
The results.
The results is important. No question.
Vibration.
Yes. There is a vibrational change. Remember, when Allah speaks, it's in a rapid. There's a rapidness. Rapidness meaning the vibration is much more uplifting. But when the lower self is influencing, it's a lower vibration. And one needs to then start to examine the thought when the vibration changes, because you can tell what's being bred in each vibration. You need to note what's being bred, because remember, we have used the practices of the lower self to satisfy ourselves in the past, and many of it has become habit forming. So it sounds right, and sometimes we don't challenge that because we're so used to doing it. But when one starts to note that there is a vibrational change as you start to climb, then it makes you alert. It alerts you. Something is going on here that I better pay attention to.
That's right.
You know?
Well,
Yes. Yes.
So, in one quote where the prophet said, let the actions of thy life show thy love to
Yes.
the Lord. So So basically, it's saying if I'm not in law, I'm out of law. I mean, and that's another way that I can tell if I'm not going the way that Allah would want me to.
But remember, you have accepted being out of law before.
True.
So if you've accepted it, it's become a practice or a habit.
Right. But
so the question is, how do you tell when you've been doing something all your life that all of a sudden you want to make a change? Because you feel, you haven't did it yet, but you feel that there's something else that I should be doing other than this. When before, it says, don't do that. And it's been disregarded. So now we're dealing with the inner dynamics of man. So how do you start to make those determinations? Because if you don't, you can get caught up in the same rat hole over and over again. Come on.
Islam, sir. And it's good that you use the example of the vibration.
Yeah.
See, when we're in harmony,
yes. Yes.
That vibration, and it speeds up, but that vibration for us,
yes,
is easy going.
Yes.
It's smooth.
Yes.
But when we are in a lower realm,
yes,
dealing with the lower
yes.
way of thinking,
yes,
remember what it breeds.
Yes.
And that's chaos,
yes,
unrest,
yes.
misery.
Yes.
Oh, that's bumpy. It's just like flying in a plane and you hear the air pocket.
Yeah. Here, look. You see how determined that thought is?
Yes.
It's determined today, isn't it? We must be getting close.
Yeah, because it keeps the current.
We got to keep the current. See, and that's not, right now, the phone that's going off, it's not on the people. It's going off to serve as a distraction. Remember, we're dealing with thought.
That's right.
They're being tested.
We're being, the key now is, can you hold it?
Yes.
Come on.
It's not, and that's timing.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what we're talking about.
Yes.
When the distractions come.
Yes.
When the impulses
yes.
outside
yes.
come.
Yes.
Are you going to stay harmonious?
Yes.
Are you going to respond to it?
Yes.
You're going to lose your focus?
Yes.
You're going to let it pull
yes.
you?
Yes.
And that's what
yes.
takes place with us.
Yes. Yes.
Something gets our attention.
Yes.
Now we got to determine, are we holding our attention with our in the proper? When we stand in harmony, even though we see all the chaos going on all around us?
Right.
Or are we going to submit to it? Right, and say, oh, wait a minute, man, I'll be back. I hear something over
Yeah,
there.
no, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Because that's where it gets you.
Yeah.
The
So you
distraction.
gotta have some restraint.
And you lose your train of current of thought.
Yes. Yes.
And
yes.
if you vibrate in a higher realm,
yes.
you're trying to hold that thought.
Yes.
You don't let the Lord self pull you.
Right.
At least not that easy.
Right. Right.
That's why we practice, so it won't fall
That's
so
right.
easy.
That's right. So that's exactly right, because that's what gives us, that's what helps to maintain our balance,
That's
our
it.
practice. Things are always here on earth going to be distractions. Because that's the way the earth is. The earth is a school. And the school is to teach the spirit how to be attentive to his school.
Come on, man.
Now we must take advantage of it. Because it's so easy to be swayed into the world of things that we are more familiar with. So, you know, you're learning certain things, but you must practice your religion to give you the restraint that is required for you to overcome those temptations.
Yes.
Yes. Brother.
Yeah, like the prophet teaches us, if we can think, we can save ourselves.
Oh, ain't no question. Ain't no question. It's all about thinking. Why is thinking important? Why is thinking important?
That's what we create things.
Yes, it is. Yes, yes. Huh? It is. And thinking is also one of the attributes that you use to keep your soul in what? Check. Because see, her thoughts can be altered at any time based on what's influencing her. The allurements of imagination influences her greatly. The question is, when you start entertaining certain thoughts that have given you certain entertainments in the past, are you willing now to say, wait a minute, I ain't trying to think right now? See, if you really start, because if you don't, she's going to respond to the way you're thinking. And that's going to ignite another current of thought similar to the thought that has caused her to get turned on.
Right.
Now you got a problem because can you stop it?
Oh boy.
Because now I might be getting my thing off now. I may not feel like stopping it.
Right.
Just let her go. But what has happened? Now you're going to create a condition because of the energy that you are now putting into that situation. And now once that condition is created and you have been entertained, now you start to reap the manifestation of the thought that you have allowed to manifest because of the energy that you have put into it. That's why distractions can be, he tells you, and I like this when he tells you this, because that's an illusion. You know that, right? Don't get caught up in the illusion because you may die under it. That's the entertainment of certain thoughts. You may get so caught up in the way you about thinking about a certain thing that you become oblivious to reality. You ever seen people get so consumed with their phone, they walk right in front of a car?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, they consume.
That's everything.
So if you don't stay alert, if you don't stay conscious, you may die under the illusion. And that's what we are not trying to do. That's why practice is so important. Practice your religion, it helps you to stay what? Grounded, focused, but most importantly what?
Balance.
Balance, no question. But what else?
Alive.
Yeah, but also helps you stay conscious. Because you want to stay conscious of your surroundings. You always want to take note of your surroundings. Because if you don't pay attention to your surroundings, you know what can creep in, don't you?
So is there ever a time you can become immutable?
Immutable?
Yeah.
Oh, it's possible, but it's going to take practice.
That's it. That's it.
It's going to take practice. Everything that we're talking about can be done. Because one has shown us it can be done.
Praise God. Praise God.
The question is, do we accept what he has shown us?
Right.
It can be done. It takes courage to try it because, that part of you that tells, that part of you that does not want you to be free of these cumbrous shackles of this mortal life will tell you, you look real foolish doing that. Look how them people, look, what would you think people gonna think about you when you do that?
Did you worry about that?
Because now you shouldn't, but we have been so conditioned to worry about what other people say that sometimes that puts us in a position to not always exhibit what is going to make us free from that. Your religion must be practiced. Your life must be lived. You can't get around it. And with this, you got to make sacrifices. You got to make the major sacrifice, and that is not worrying about what people say.
That's right.
If you can get over, if we can get over that, we have crossed a major hurdle.
I know that's right. That's right.
And much of the time, when we worry about what people say, it's not even what they're saying in the first place. It's what we are creating.
That's right.
With the thoughts that we are holding. And a lot of times those thoughts can get you to dislike people.
Ain't that something?
Not because what they say, but because of what you think they say. And that creates wedges.
Yeah.
Separation. Disunity. Come on.
Got a question. What is that makes us think like that?
What is that makes us think like that?
We thinking that other people body is us. Would that have something to do with vanity?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it is vanity, but you always want to keep it in the context of knowing that's you that's making you think. That's that lower part of you.
Right.
Because it's the lower part that's always going to challenge the higher part. Because remember, the lower part cannot go into a more rapid vibration. It stays where it is, in the slower vibration. And if it's earthbound, thank you, Mo, if it's earthbound, it does not know Allah. That's why it takes itself from time to time and calls himself God.
He's always about whoever occupying the throne at the time.
There's no question. You know you got a David and you got a Goliath.
Yeah.
You got to love and you got to hate. You know, which one are you feeding? See, sometimes we don't always like to let people know that we have called hate to dinner. See, sometimes we don't let oh no, I didn't tell hate to come. But hate is there because of your dislike. Because your dislike is just another lesser degree of hate. Still hate. Come on here.
It's not, sir. You know, along that line, I've been asking myself this question in recent times is, what is my state of mind?
Yeah, Ma. Yeah, Ma.
What is my state of mind? You know, on a consistent basis, what is my state of mind?
Yeah, Ma. On a consistent
we
basis.
know that.
Yeah.
Allah never created heaven for man, he never created hell.
Yeah.
We are creators that make our own.
Yeah.
And we go on to let it be known that heaven is a state of mind.
Yeah.
And we gotta ask ourselves, what is your state of mind?
Yeah, Mo. Yeah.
What are we creating? You know, because the brother said earlier, because the results that come out,
Yeah.
it'll show you some things.
Yeah.
But what is your consistent state of mind? We know we're practicing, we're in this lower self, and we're in this flesh, so our folk gonna come.
Yeah.
But what is my state of mind even when they do come?
Yeah. Yeah.
And am I able to, have I been practicing enough to pull myself back, or they try to pull me?
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? And you ask yourself this question too. Do I really want to pull myself out of it? Because we are in love with anguish. We often fly from prayer.
Yes, that's what he let us know.
Some of us just love to feel like that. How you feel today? Oh, I'm not doing too well. You know? Some of us just love it. We love it.
Yeah.
We love feeling like that. Because we have accepted that as being. Sometimes we don't want to get no better because we think if we get better, won't nobody give us no attention. People love attention. And if I got to get attention by saying, you know, I got a toothache, I got a headache, and I'm getting some attention, if I'm addicted to attention, I'm going to keep on saying those things.
And that's a state of mind.
That's a state of mind.
And so we got to look at this thing.
That's right. You got to examine it. That's
right.
right.
Able to examine it.
You got to.
And you got to be honest enough when you start to recognize.
That's right. That's right.
There's some things that you just keep holding on to.
That's right. Instead, hey, look, and things that you just continue to put yourself in the position to experience it coming from other sources.
Yeah.
Because see, what I'm learning, that's a good statement. What I'm learning is to ask myself, what state am I in? Yeah. Even when you start to get up in the morning, what state am I in? So what do you use? That's a good question. What do you use to help to set your state or help to enter into a state that's beneficial to you when you arise? Sister Barry.
Islam. I have an app on my phone and it asks me every day at 3:33 because that's a number I always see. It asks me, what sense are you at right now? So I'm attentive with the senses. And it makes me pay attention to my deeds, my thoughts, my words, and what I'm feeling, what's going on with my spirit side. Because we have a body, we have a soul, but we need to pay attention to the spirit.
Yeah.
So that helps me come back to the spirit. I could be cleaning up, cooking, working, but I come back to the spirit and I go, where am I at? It might be reading, it might be the feel or hearing,
Okay.
but it brings you to the senses, and that keeps you in the bounds of righteousness.
I hear you. I hear
Thanks a
you.
lot.
I hear you. That's a good move. That's a good move. Come on, Brother McGee, back.
Islam, I was just gonna say, just simple, get up in the morning and pray.
Yeah.
And hit the reset button on your life with a
Yeah.
prayer.
Yeah, but you know what, McGee, back, what I found out is that prayer, you can get up and just do it all the time, but you don't really even know the significance of it.
Yeah, it's emotion.
It's just like sometimes we just walk around and we see people, Islam,
Yeah.
but that Islam has no behind it. It has no We've just gotten in a habit of saying Islam. Here's another one. You get, there it is. There it is. You heard me. Yeah. See, it becomes, we don't stop to note the significance of it. We just go through the motions. That's how easy it is to get caught up on earth. My dear.
Islam, along with the prayer, after I pray, I usually, when I find myself sort of, vibration kind of thick, I will sing one of my songs, and I just sing it until
Praise
it does something
Yeah.
to me, raises, lift me up.
Yeah.
And usually it's the same, I might sing, well, I don't know how long I'll say, oh Allah, I need you to help me.
Yes.
Help me on my journey.
Yeah.
And I'll say it over and over until after a while, it becomes, I'm in touch with my God.
Yes. 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 See, that's what the practice should be geared towards, getting you back in touch with your God. See, when you pray, you really should feel something. It's not just getting up there saying the prayer and I did it. Just go.
You gotta think about the prayer.
You gotta think about it. See, if you don't give no thought to it, it becomes insignificant.
You ain't using it.
Yeah. My dear.
Islam, so like when, because I always hear you or whoever's at the podium saying, we have to think about the prayer. It just can't be something you do. We have to think about it and feel it. So for me, it's like a trailer, like a movie trailer.
Okay.
I vision my prayer with the sun going down, the sun coming up.
Okay.
He's my guide, he's my protector.
Okay.
I see it.
I hear you.
I hear it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I hear you. Come on, Mom.
I'm in conjunction with Brother P. Chase Ill. The prophet said, reflection is the business of man.
Right.
A sense of his state is his first duty.
Right.
So a lot of times we need some reflection time.
Right.
Reflect back on the things we did yesterday and the things that we did, and bring them up, to date and look at the condition that you're in at that moment.
Okay. Okay.
It will help you along the way.
Okay. Okay. Examine the condition that you're in that moment. Go down. Sister Johnson.
Islam, in regard to prayer, I've learned that it's also a part of really praying is being quiet and listening. Because sometimes even when we're praying, it not only becomes a habit, but you're the one doing all the talking. Whether it's out loud or not. Sometimes I find myself just talking, and I'm talking to Allah, I'm talking to myself, but then I stop for a moment and realize, you know what? How are you going to answer you or have his part of the conversation if you don't be quiet? So I learned sometimes you just gotta be quiet.
That's right.
Just don't say nothing and listen for that still small voice.
That's right. That's right. Now all this entails. All this is just simply another way of looking at your practice. How do you practice? Come on.
I feel where the Sister Jones Bay coming from, because I just, like yesterday, I was praying, But I was thinking at the same time, where did I put my keys at?
Yeah.
But I'm looking for the keys in my head while I'm saying the prayer.
Yeah.
So you gotta clear your head.
Yeah. Because remember, that is no more than an influence of your lower self to keep you distracted from making the connection. Remember, you're always going to have a distraction to prevent you from making the connection. Because if you make that connection in the light of all things in love, you see, our need.
Right. I think about what Sister Jones, but he said that he exalted our mind with the powers of meditation.
Right.
And then another part, he said, contemplate thy frame.
Right.
So these two forms of expression, meditation, contemplation.
Right.
So I have to take my time. There's no rush.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When I get up in the morning, I'm trying as I'm getting older, I ain't rushing as much. But,
right.
But I have to take my time and think about
right.
what I'm getting ready to embrace.
Right.
Prayer.
Right.
And after prayer, because for me, prayer is supplication. I'm asking Allah for something.
Right.
And like she said, then I have to wait and not just rush off after I pray.
Right.
I have to sit down and still myself and hear what Allah got to say.
Right. Right. Right.
A lot of times I'll be rushing and trying to get so much stuff done.
Right.
And I'm not listening.
Right.
And that's a very key element to salvation for me.
Right.
Is listening.
Right. What do you do when you have to go to work and you oversleep and you jump up? Your whole object is not to be late. Now when you find time to make the connection, then you focus on getting out of there.
Right.
You see? So what method do you employ so that you can make, because you can't get caught up. That's the moment that you got to be most careful. Because now I'm consumed with trying to get out of here. You're very vulnerable. What you do? Come on, sister.
It's it just made me think about something.
Yeah.
A few years ago, I actually had a board put in my head.
You had what put in your head?
I'm giving a more American.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Put in my head a few years ago when I'm praying, if I start yawning, that's the devil speaking to me.
Right.
And I'm trying to brush that off, but that's superstitious stuff.
Right.
To me, that's superstitious stuff.
Right.
But I find myself still because it was put in my brain. Right. Sometimes when I pray and I start yawning.
Right.
I stop and start all over again.
Right.
So I can do it without yawning. But it's just, and I'm saying this was a Moorish American that put this in my head. So I'm saying Allah's making me conscious. It don't make no difference what title they give themselves, right? That I got to be conscious of everything I do, what is put in my head, because you never know when your lower self is sneaking up trying to influence you. And when you were speaking, I just thought about that, because I'll get to praying, then all of a sudden I start yawning, and unconsciously I'll stop and start over.
But you know what, Sister Delia, and I can hear that. I can hear that. But remember, it's not what they put in your head, it's what you allow.
Exactly.
See, once you accept it, it's in there. Because look, some of these Moors will say anything to make you think that they are highly developed in scientific knowledge. And they will try to convince you by saying certain things. And if you're not careful, you'll find yourself being under the influence of people that don't have the slightest idea what they're talking about. They don't even know. But and some they have titles.
Right.
Some hold positions of authority. And you take for granted that they know what they're talking about. But don't you know you better check everything out? You better check everything out. I'm not, and that's not being what is it? Radical. That's just checking things out. And if you don't, and it's okay to do that. Come on, Mom.
Yeah, it's all, and this is not to say what you just saying, but I did read that.
Right.
In a hadith.
Yes.
So I did read that in a hadith.
Right. Read what?
The statement she made about if
Yawning.
you're praying, if you be gone.
Right.
Close it.
Right.
And start your prayer again.
Right.
After you finish
Right.
it.
Right. See, and that's another thing we gotta be careful of. And I tell you why, not to say that, but we always have to remember, certain statements are made based on certain things that have occurred. And we don't always know what was behind that statement.
That's right.
Because it could be totally different. It's just like the one when the prophet says, I brought you everything. Yeah, but he said, now what you want me to do, kill you?
Right.
Now wait a minute. I gotta think about that. Because where did that come in at? And what does it mean? What's the significance of it? It sounds one way, but you have to examine things. You just can't take things for granted. Certain statements were made in response to certain things, and some of the things that was said is left out. And we're repeating these things, thinking that, but it's nothing wrong with checking things out. If you don't, you're subject to be under the influence of a misguided statement. You know? But anyway, so we're talking about practice, but now we got to go to the Holy Quran. And we're going to 41. Right.
Page 41?
No, page 50. Chapter 41. Holy instructions from the prophet. What? Inconstancy. And we already know that to be inconstant is to be what? Unstable and what else?
Very inconsistent.
Very wavering, inconsistent. Wishy-washy. You said that last time, Crawford. But you're right, wishy-washy. No question. No question. No question. No question. Nature urges thee to inconstancy, O man. Therefore, guide thyself at all times against it. And I'm just going to read down to, I think we already stopped at 9. Was it 9? Okay, 9. That's what came up. Nature urges thee to inconstancy, O man. Therefore, guard thyself at all times against it. We already got that gist of that statement. Briefly, we're saying do what when we say guard? What are we saying? Watch. Be on watch. And what else are we saying? Be aware. Thou art from the womb of thy mother various and wavering. From the loins of thy father inheriteth thou instability. Various and wavering and instability is associated with what? Inconstancy. If you're various and wavering, that means you're not what? Stable. You're not constant. And if you look, and if it says and if we're dealing with the illness of instability, that also shows a lack of what? Firmness. Means you're shaky. And where do we get it from? Our parents.
Shame on
But one thing about it, we all are products and contributors to inconstancy. Thank you. It says, those who gave thee a body furnished it with weakness, but he who gave thee a soul armed thee with resolution. And resolution is what?
Firmness.
Firmness. So that means even though we're various, we're wavering, we're inconstant, we're instable, we are unstable, we still have something to combat it. What's it called? Resolution. What is resolution? What is it to be resolute?
Firmness of purpose.
Firmness of purpose. And firmness shows what?
Strength.
It does show strength.
Shows stability.
Stability. And also what?
Commitment.
Commitment, yes. Well, we got a whole lot of, yeah. Okay, yeah. But mainly, it shows consistency. It shows constancy. Because remember, that resolution helps us to be constant if we are firm. The question is, can we hold? Because we can be firm in this today, and tomorrow, we're not as firm. Because of what? in conscience. It says, let him who doeth well beware how he boasteth of it. For rarely is it of his own will. It's not the event of an impulse from without, born of uncertainty, enforced by accident, dependent on somewhat else. To thee and to accident do praise. Beware of it. Come on, Mark.
Could you explain that verse right there? Beware of instability and intent of thy actions.
Beware of instability. Well, beware is to be no more than the what?
Alert.
Yeah, be alert, but be conscious. What else does it mean? But what are we being conscious? Since you said that, what are we being conscious or alert from? Our thoughts, no question. But did it not say intent? What is intent? What is an intent? What is your intent? What is that?
Desire.
Your thoughts. Huh? Action for doing something. Yes, okay.
Main purpose.
Okay. Action. Yeah. But look, the intent of your action. What, when you did that, when you said that, what was your intent? When you said Islam, what was your intent? Because you can say Islam and it has a dual purpose, a dual meaning. One can be an Islam to be true or real. The other can be an Islam to misinform or deceive. What is your intent?
Yeah, desire and result.
What is, no question.
Would be your ulterior motive, I guess.
What is the motive? Why are you saying Islam? Now you should do this before you say it. Before you extend Islam, you should know why you're saying it.
Right.
Not saying it just for the sake of saying it, but saying it because you mean it. Now look, that's important because of what? Why is that important? Why is it important to examine your intention or your intent before you do something?
When you put it out, how it comes across.
Huh?
When you put it out, how it comes across.
Okay. Come on.
Because Allah is making a record, a note of everything that you do.
Right.
So you're gonna be held accountable for your thoughts.
Okay.
And how you carry out your behavior.
Okay. Come on, Mark.
I think it's important because it's going to tell you how you should act and respond to
Certain situations.
what you were thinking.
Okay. Okay.
Your character.
Okay. All right.
It's going to show you your character.
Okay. But when you do that, you know what you're doing? You are igniting energy. And a deceitful Islam continues to travel. And it picks up momentum by gathering close to other deceitful Islams. And all you're doing is adding to it. Just like a sincere Islam has energy. That same energy can uplift, which you are giving a portion of credit for aiding in the assisting of the uplifting of fallen humanity. But a negative Islam can contribute to the demise when it comes to the promotion of the truth. Yes, Islam is beautiful for it.
I was saying, that's why the prophet let us know that not the eyes and sinners that watch for thee.
Right.
Yet how often are they unable to distinguish truth from error?
Okay.
Because when we're thinking a certain way, it turns our current of thought off, and we might not see the thing the way it really is.
Right. Okay. All right. Or say the thing the way it really is. Yeah. Okay. All right. Sister Rashida. Okay. Islam.
The intent, excuse me, is very important.
Yes.
The intent is important because, like the brother said, Allah judges by our intent.
Yes. Yes.
So we can have
Yes.
intentions of
Yes.
coming to the temple.
Yes. Yes.
Wholeheartedly.
Yes.
We're prepared, we're ready.
Yes.
Some emergency comes up
Yes.
and we don't get there
Yes.
because we are taking care of an emergency. It could be a car accident.
Sure.
On the way, somebody may need you because
Sure.
they're experiencing some emergency, what have you.
Sure. Sure.
So what happened to the intent
Sure.
when you were going to go to the temple?
Sure. Sure. Sure.
Allah credit you for that.
Yes.
Because that was real.
That's right.
He also had this other event to see where you are along the way. So you're going to leave somebody that's in some emergency situation.
Right.
Somebody needs you to come and help with
Right.
something going on. You're going to leave them because I was on my way to the temple.
Right.
But see, you can't just say it.
Right.
That's why we talk about the intent.
Right.
That was real.
Right.
And so when it's real, then you are going to be paid for that.
Right.
You're going to be rewarded for that.
Right. Right.
And so we just need to know, but you can't say, I was on my way, but then
Right.
somebody wanted me to do whatever, which benefits the person.
Right.
Not the person who called you.
Right.
You person.
Right.
And so you're not going to get credit for that.
Right.
Because the intent was not honorable.
Right.
The intent was not good. It wasn't true. You
Right.
cannot get a feather in the beanie for that.
Right. Right. Right.
So the intent is very, we have to be real about what's real.
Right. Real about what's real.
And Allah is judging us,
Yeah.
though we don't see it. And a lot of times we don't understand it because we're looking at fictitious stuff. We're looking at illusions all day long. You're looking at cells, looking at cars, looking at everything that we put out thinking it's something real. And it's not. And so we see it all the time.
Right.
All the time. This body, we're giving it a whole lot of life that we need to be given to something real like love, divine love, like Allah. Things on that higher level, if you're on that level, then you're going to look at a person differently than you would if you're not focusing on that higher level.
Islam.
Brother.
Islam. Just want to give a little small definition of beware of the resolution and intent of our actions. You know, it's an old saying that says that the road to hell, the road to the graveyard is paved with good intentions. And we must be aware of the irresolution, the infirmity in our intent, because oftentimes, like the sister said, we think about doing something, you know, good, but the infirmity is there, and it often causes us to do something totally contrary to what we intend to do.
Right.
And this is true because, you know, just this goes back to the very first instruction that the brother Grand Sheik read. Nature urges thee to inconceal, man. Therefore, guard thyself against it at all times. This is inconstancy. It's showing you how man be inconstant through his infirmity, and we must be aware, alert of the intent of thy actions,
Right.
and beware of the instability in the execution.
Yeah.
So should I trumpet over two great failures of thy nature.
Okay.
So this is extremely important in order to circumvent or order to circumscribe that inconstancy that's powerful in the heart of man.
Right.
Thank you, man.
You're welcome. But you know your intent is solely dependent on how you think.
Islam.
It's how you think. Your intent is solely dependent upon how you think. A lower thinker thinks intent is different than it is from a higher thinker. See, we have words that sound alike on both planes of thought, but the meaning is different. My intent may be totally different from your intent because I'm not thinking like you think. The question is, what is the proper intent? What is the true intent? What is the true intent? As opposed to what is the intent that seems to be? How do you tell the difference between the two? Unless you change the way you think. Come on.
I was thinking because that intent, that high intent, we on a vibration, and we don't want to disrupt that vibration. When we disrupt it, that intent doesn't have no true meaning to it.
Okay.
I'm thinking it's on a higher level. We want to stay on that high vibration of thinking, and not disrupt it.
Okay.
Islam.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sincerity?
Yes.
It should be sincerity behind your
Yes.
intent.
Yes. Sincerity. Yes. Yes. Yes, sincerity. Yeah. Where I stop?
That's
Okay. All right. 7. What reproaches reason more than to act contrarieties? What can suppress the tendencies to these, but firmness of mind? What does the word reproach mean?
Disgrace.
Huh?
Disgrace.
Disgrace? What else does it mean? Come on.
no, to keep challenging you over and over and over. I mean, you might have, like you said, intent to do the right thing, and then it's going to be an opposite thought that challenge what you originally wanted to do. So if your intention or your thoughts is to be a good Muslim, just throw that out there. There are going to be things that challenge you. You have to fight for this. Just like I say, resolution, employee, the other end of it. I mean, you got to put that to work. You're going to work for being firm. Right? So, and that reproach, it's going to continuously be challenged by what you receive.
Now, what does reproach?
Okay, I'm about to say Islam. Peace. It just means from the definition it says disappointment, disapproval.
Disappointment, disapproval.
That's as a noun.
Discredit.
Discredit. That's how Brother Henry Smith was used in the form of discredit. The reason I asked you gave an example which I can accept, but we need to know what it means. You see? That's why I'm asking what the word means. If you don't know what the word means, then you can give an example, but if you don't know the meaning of the word, maybe the example could be a little better if you knew what you were talking about. And that's important. See, that's how they trick us. They trick us because we don't know the meaning of the word.
Right.
We accept that we've been using a meaning all our lives, and we think it's right, but we never checked it out. They're not going to tell you you're wrong. They're going to use that against you. Yes.
It actually says not just disappointment or disapproval, but it says to address in such a way as to express disapproval, disappointment. Like it's almost saying like, when you approach someone with approval, and when you reproach, it's disapproval.
And we're not talking about a person, we're talking about reason.
Right.
We're talking about sound judgment. How can we use reproach in the way that would give us what it's saying about reason? How do we reproach reason? How do we reproach reason? My sister.
By acting the opposite.
By acting the opposite.
That's right.
That's right. And the only reason I'm trying to do this with you is because if I don't ask you, somebody else gonna ask you.
Right.
I would feel bad. You go out here thinking that you know what something means, and you don't.
And you're wrong.
And then because what happens is this is how the devil moves on you. He'll make you think you know. But you really don't know that you don't know. So then what happens is an opportunity is going to come where you have to express what you think you know.
Right.
And you've been in the temple and you've been coming to the meetings and you think you know.
Right.
But then it doesn't come out like you think it should come out. So now, what happens? Doubt starts to rise. Now you got to deal with doubt. Doubting as to whether or not what you're in is right. You see what I'm saying?
So when you say you know the difference between what's right and what's wrong, you have to do the opposite of what's right to accept the consequences for doing wrong when you say you knew right, then that's what you really didn't know.
Well, you really did, yeah.
I mean, because if you're gonna go contrary to what's right,
well, you don't know.
You don't know.
You don't know.
Because to know is to exemplify, to let it be done.
Yes.
So it's just like let it be done.
Yes.
So if I don't let it be done, then I mean I don't know. I mean,
but see, that's the key. That's the key. The key is always be prepared to say you don't know. Because if you can say I don't know, then you can start to find out so you can know.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that when we talk about that word contrary,
Yes.
it really is this way. If I'm reasoning and I've come to a conclusion, that this is how it's supposed to be.
Right.
But I still go.
You go the other
contrary
way, exactly.
To what I know is right.
Right.
I still go opposite.
Right. Right.
Even though I knew, because I reasoned.
Right.
So I just discredit my ability to reason.
Right. Right.
You know, I reproached it.
Right.
Because I reasoned it out, I thought it out.
Right.
And I came to the conclusion this is the right decision.
Right.
But I didn't execute.
Right.
oh boy.
Right. Or look, and even like this here too, like just like you said. Or you know what you should do. You've reasoned it out. I should do this.
Right.
But now I can rationalize why I don't have to do it.
Oh boy.
Justify.
You see? See, reason can be used to help you to determine a situation. But there's the other side that reproaches reason.
So when
And its argument can be just as strong as the one you had for reason.
So when you put the force behind the wrong thought, then it's gonna be
When you put the energy based on the way you think anyway.
Right.
See, you may know what's right, but your thought, your current of thinking does not support that.
Right.
It supports this.
Right.
And what have you been practicing? That which supports this instead of that.
If you mind me that commercial, you can get with this or you can get with that.
That's right. Or you be a product of this or that. But the choice is yours. If you haven't been practicing, you go for that. Because that is what we're most accustomed to doing.
Exactly.
Because we have accepted a certain pattern of thinking when we accepted their teachings. We're trying to put in place those things that will address the acceptance of teachings that we have accepted. Because, you know, you're talking about now altering the way you think. You're talking about it's not going west, change your mind and go back east. And now there are certain things that you're going to be exposed to from going east than you were exposed to when you were going west. Now can you make the adjustments? Sometimes we don't feel like making the adjustments because we're mentally tired. I just don't feel like doing it today. I know it's the right thing to do. I know I should have took it, but I didn't take it.
That's work.
Identify ways of being to justify why.
No question. Because when somebody comes to you and say, why you do that? Now I got to find a way by thinking like that to justify my actions because I can't use reason because this is going to make me look like I'm crazy. So I got to go in a whole nother round or current of thought to explain my actions.
Especially if the individual you're trying to convince looks at you or accepts you in a certain way.
Yeah. That's
like
right.
a parent, like a parent. For
Yeah,
example.
that's
Yeah.
right.
Or a spouse or something.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. See, the dynamics of, as you start to come from elemental slavery, you have to really give some consideration. I mean, you have to really think about what you're doing. Because this is so close that you can do what you always have done and think it's the right thing to do. And you don't let the other part in to show you that there's another way to do it. It's a constant battle. You know, he talks about the conflict. We're in a constant conflict of changing from one way of thinking to another way of thinking. And if we're not conscious, we can fall prey to what we've always done because it feels like it's the safest thing to do. But the prophet, his thought is the thought that can cause us to make the transitions or the transition in a way that's most appropriate for us as we start to change our mind. You know we can't do it all at once because a lot of that stuff that we accepted that we like. And we still like it. And if it's thrown up in front of us and we are saying, look, you gotta leave this alone, we may not be ready to leave that alone right now. So he goes into areas of thought where we can make transitions. That helps us to build up momentum. So when we are confronted with that big thing, we have gained enough momentum to challenge it. Right. And once we challenge it, we find out it works in our favor.
Praise Allah for the practice.
And that's what Allah does. You know, but you got to not be satisfied with your present way of thinking.
Right.
If you're not satisfied, then you look for a better way. And that's one of the keys to the movement. You got to think your condition can be better. Right. Peace.
Peace.
I'd like to thank our Grand Secret, the moderator of the Lord's Time, to our mother of our John Bay for his class, for his instruction. Also like to thank you all for your participation. I pray, Lord, that we got not out of this Sunday school. And that as we move forward, the first thing our Grand Secret moderator said is that we can't let these lessons lay dormant. We got to exercise our five senses. That's what we're here for. That's what Sunday school is all about, exercise our five senses. And that sometimes we might call members to our aid, and that we have to imitate the prophet, that we're moving along. So we don't want these lessons just to be dormant. It's going to be a time where you're going to have to exercise. So we don't want to just, here just to be here. With that being said, I'm going to call forth the Assistant Grand Governor of Washington, D.C., Brother T.K. Gill, to read the warning. Can we cease all movements and give him unified attention?
Islam. First, I rise to give praise to Allah, great God of the universe, almighty, eternal, and incomprehensible. And I give honor to his holy and divine prophet, Prophet Noble Ali. And I give honor to each and every one of you. It's a great day, boys. Prophet warns all Muslims, governors, ordered to read proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical, agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, and on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence.
We offer love, truth, peace, and freedom. And when these principles are violated, justice then must take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card, but cease wearing their turban or fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sins by order of prophet Noble Ali. Peace. Peace.